you've sealed your panels, next step, you're definitely going to want to make sure that there's no loose debris. Check all the panels. Make sure that there's no loose dust particles. You may want to take the tack rag once over the panel just to make sure that there's no little odds and ends that have stuck to your panel before you apply the base coat. Check your P sheet and check what pressure your gun should be set to, and make sure that you're checking your regulator to make sure that the base coat and the gun are all of the proper range. Preparing yourself to spray base coat, think through where you're going to position yourself. You may want to widen your stance. If it's an extra long panel, a van, a truck, you may want to have stools ready, and think through how you're going to use yourself to get across the panel evenly. It'll take time if you're just starting out, but to figure out, there's a few things you need to be paying attention to when you're spraying across the panel. You need to be thinking about the horns, how close they are to the panel, keeping an even distance as you're moving the gun across the panel so that the transfer efficiency and the product that's transferred over to the panel is even the whole time. It'll come with time. In the first few months of starting out as a painter, maybe a little dicey, but you'll build into it. But again, thinking through how close the horns are to the panel, and then also overlap, depending on the product that you're using, anywhere between 65% and 75% of overlap is typically recommended. Again, we're going to tell you to refer back to your P sheet, but overlap really just means overlapping that first spray pattern into the second spray pattern. And then don't forget to get the edges of panels, making sure that you're getting the base coat evenly across all sides of the panel. Also, laying off the trigger as you're coming from side to side, that takes time to really get the art and finesse of that. But as you're spraying and coming to the end of the panel, releasing on the trigger and then re-triggering will help with, and also kind of a little bit of a flick of the wrist as you're coming from side to side of the panel. Over time, you'll develop your own style of how you like to spray. For tricky parts or parts with a lot of ridges, think through all the different angles of the surfaces and take the horns directly to all those surfaces, kind of parallel to them. A lot of painters will do kind of the face of the panel, and then once they're done with the face, they'll move along the edges. When you're working with a big part like a bumper, kind of going into some of those smaller crevices first, and then a lot of painters will kind of go down each side of the bumper first, then they'll go all the way, down the long way of the bumper, and then continue on to the other half piece of the bumper.